One. Yay! We live. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. I'm Melissa. So we're finally at the end. This is episode 10. This has felt like the longest season ever in Evers of Life. So I like to start off by asking y'all, what do you rate this episode? 1 out of 5 silos.
I want to go first.
Okay, go.
4 out of 5 silos.
Okay.
But also, I want to give it like more like a 4.5 than a 4, but not a 5.
Hmm.
You gave last week a 5, right?
I did. That's why I couldn't give this one a 5 because I did have some moments that were low for me, but we'll talk about it.
I don't remember
Okay.
what you rated. I don't remember ratings from last week, but go ahead. See, Chris Dang feels me. Yes.
Finally it ends. All right. So for anybody that is just tuning in for the first time, I rate Silo on a scale or on a curve because I don't feel like this season at least has been that great. But I will rate it 5 out of 5 silos. I think this was about as good as you could hope for a season finale, given everything that led up to this.
I was thinking
Melissa?
of you this episode 2 out of 5 silos.
2. Really?
Wow.
Interesting.
It's more of an emotional response because if you've been following this after show, I have been very frustrated and kind of bored because it just made me realize this is why I don't watch mystery shows until they're already done and over. Like, I think about the show Lost. I watched that show 10 years after it finished airing, and this was what it reminds me of. Because I feel like, okay, I was excited. Okay, by the time that she has the suit on and she's going back to her cell, it's like, oh my god, something's happening. What's gonna happen? And then we're getting answers. Lucas is shaken. He tells Bernard whatever the algorithm told him, that okay, we're gonna get an answer. We're gonna get an answer. What's going on? And then we get a flashback, and I was very confused. I was like, holy shit, did something happen with Apple? Is this like a different show? I literally like connected to make sure that I was on the Silo show still, and I was. And I was like, who are these people? What's going to happen? It's a reporter and this congressman guy. And then we talk about nothing. And then he gives her a duck pezzy thingy. And then I don't have the answers by the end. Now, I don't expect to have all the answers by this episode, but I feel like they were going to give me something to hold me over. And I just feel very frustrated by that. Because now I'm not going to wait a year. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Reddit and Wikipedia and YouTube. I have been holding off. I've been saying this entire season, I'm not going to click the videos. I'm not going to look up the lore because I'm going to wait for them to show me the answers. And then they didn't do that. They just had more questions. I'm frustrated.
All right.
I feel so opposite like.
Yeah.
I got more answers than I expected.
What answers did you get?
A lot.
I don't know that I got a ton of answers, but I feel like I got like some like greater perspective, and then I'm excited to learn about why the silos started in the first place, which I guess is what they're setting up with the flashback at the end. Do we want to start with the flashback at the end?
Yes. Start.
Iran.
Oh yeah, Iran. Maybe it's a false flag. We don't know.
There is no 15th district of Georgia in real life.
I did see that in a video as well.
I saw that in the
We
video.
must have seen the same video.
We could
Probably.
be in the future, right? It could be 2030. Yeah.
I don't know if we're overthinking it and maybe like it's in the near future when there's another Georgia district, or if they just were like, hey, we can invent a district and invent this Congress person that doesn't exist and it'll feel more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be regardless, it's in another dimension. So
somewhere in the past in Georgia,
Yeah.
which I think this girl is being played by a sand snake from Game of Thrones.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, she was. I knew she looked familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, I completely that just
Always goes back to Game of Thrones, baby.
yo, when
Always.
this scene started, I immediately clocked it and I said they didn't think they were getting a season 3.
Really?
Really?
They're only giving us this because they didn't that if they had ended it with the jumping out of the fire like a cat, meow, that would have been
Yes.
terrible.
I was like, don't do it. Do not end at the fire.
Ah!
Yeah,
It
I
was
was a little
pretty
more
birdemic,
worried.
like.
I think I would have given it a lower grade if it ended there.
Yeah.
At least they set up something which I think we'll learn more about in season 3. hopefully.
Mhm.
So this has
Um,
got to be another timeline they're going to follow, a la Westworld.
I don't know. We might not have answers till season 5. People, don't you understand this? That's what I'm worried
Why?
about.
There's only 3 books.
They could stretch it.
but they trickle and
Why?
they like give you more information. I feel like I definitely got more. I didn't get necessarily answers, but I got more information. Like I feel like I know about the now. Like so, the conversation we had last week was like, well, it seems clear that there's like gas outside, so maybe the people in charge aren't even like that bad because it does make sense to try to keep people inside. So there's like a moral dilemma or like ethical question there. But now I'm hearing like when the people went outside, they didn't really die at first, and they have this poison gas, which is the safeguard. So is there just poison gas that like gets sprayed into the air outside? Is there poison gas that gets sprayed into the obviously there's poison gas that gets sprayed into the silo, but maybe that's just generally like a weapon that comes into play
But
in certain
why
situations.
why do we have the gas if the outside is actually bad?
I think the gas is what's outside. I think they're just going to pump it in and kill everybody and replace them all.
I'm thinking of the gas that they spray the
Maybe.
people in the silo like, right before they go
It could
clean.
it could be
that what-
that still doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
I don't know,
I don't
but
get
now
it.
I'm a little more skeptical that outside is as bad as we maybe thought it might have been, which I thought
Well,
like
you think it's,
had
Not
to be
season
the
1.
you think
case.
it's not that bad?
Huh?
The
Huh?
gas is poison. The gas is poison. I've been saying this since season
But
1.
she needed the tape. It's how she survived.
Huh?
Yeah, but maybe there's
Tape?
like some kind of mechanism that like sprays gas like once people go outside or something.
That's what I thought.
Because Solo was saying people didn't really die right away, and that his mom tried to plug up the pipe or something. And
So is the algorithm pressing a button, gas, and then like kill people?
I don't know. I
Gas.
mean, it does seem like it's a little bit more complicated than what was initially
Shoot.
suggested. And I guess like so are we supposed to think that all that Lucas told Bernard is that hey, they can pump in gas whenever they want and you'll all just die? And that made Bernard want to kill
seemed
himself.
like yeah, because I feel like Bernard always felt like he had a lot of power to help control the rebellions or whatever, but he finds out that like it doesn't mean anything because you can be killed at any moment. Because somebody else really has control,
Yeah.
is what I'm thinking.
Maybe it told him that the thingy wasn't on because they're not going to talk to him anymore and they're going to use the safeguard and what the safeguard is. It was a long conversation. It wasn't like just a few words. Like he was at his ear
But
for a
it was
bit.
like it was a truth that made Meadows turn into an alcoholic, and now Lucas is like, no, I don't need this fancy
Well,
job.
yeah,
Like, it
so
makes people want
everybody
sex.
that hears that whatever was said quits. That we know. So
Yeah.
2 people quit as his shadow, and then he basically quit. Like he gave the thing to Common, who wasn't that bad in this episode. I know I've
No,
ripped
he
on
was- he
him
was
in
fine.
previous
He was a
It was a little
but I
funny,
thought he was
though.
fine.
When Lucas was talking to Bernard, like Common had a front row seat and Admonson had a front row seat. It was very anime. It was like watching Dragon Ball, where like everyone
Yo.
can see what Goku's doing.
A lot of people saw that.
Yeah.
A lot of people saw that.
This whole episode felt like an anime, though. And that's kind of my issue with it, because it was all just like cartoonish action. Like they had that bearded man kind of being like the main rebel, I suppose. And like they have him like leading the charge, like, let's go up. It almost looked like The Simpsons. I don't know. It took me out. There were a couple things in this episode that completely took me out because of how stupid they were. So stupid. I can't remember what it is right now, but I'll remember.
What did you like about the episode?
Oh, I like what Solo did. Solo is my MVP. He went to go test the helmet. What a good boy.
He was very
I know.
cute in making sure.
All my best boys are named
Yes.
Jimmy. Jimmy McGill. Jimmy, whatever his name Solo is. Jimmy from South Park.
I forgot his real name.
What?
Jimmy from South Park.
I forgot Solo's real
Jimmy.
name already.
It's
It is
Jimmy, but I
Jimmy?
don't remember his last
Oh.
name. They do say it though. I think.
Okay. But yeah, that was cute of him. He
He
makes
was a
sure the
good
suit is
boy.
fine. What else? What else did you
I
like?
like that. I like the character stuff in this episode too. I like that Juliet was like being an adult for those kids who needed some kind of words of encouragement.
Yeah,
That meant something.
I like that
Mhm.
speech. It's like ridiculous blaming this girl who came to you as a baby.
Yeah. I kind of thought that monologue was a little corny, I'm not gonna lie.
It was though, but I
She's
liked
like,
it.
you need to help each other instead of being mad at each other.
But they're kids. They've never
needed to
known
tell them.
adults except their parents, like who like died when they were itty bitty. Like I've been trying to piece the timeline together of like when did Hope or Eater arrive and when did the parents die, and I can't really figure that part out. But it really, those parents must have been gone a long time, and I like that. Not that they were gone. I mean, just
even though
you
like they're all pretty well adjusted except for that one girl. She's the only one that has like
she's such
bad
a bitch.
ideas and a bad attitude.
Mean.
Yeah, she's kind of a bad character, honestly.
Awful person.
I don't want to know more about
Like
those people.
like badly written.
Like just kind of dumb.
2D.
Their
I'm gonna
whole
experiment with
dynamic is pretty like whatever.
It's very cartoonish. It felt like a
Yeah.
Saturday morning cartoon in a good way and a bad way. Huh. Oh shit.
Whoa.
Continue talking.
Oh my god.
I'm experimenting.
Experimenting.
Talk about things
huh?
that she likes.
Hello
Interesting.
everyone.
Yeah,
I'm Sailor
yeah.
Tortilla and I have run out of words in this sentence.
Andres, what did you like about this episode?
Oh God. You know what I like that we haven't mentioned before is the whole plot that the people in Mechanical put on to trick Bernard. I mean, we saw it coming last. We definitely saw it coming last week that they were kind of throwing him off, but I didn't expect that one older lady to be involved with like the hand signals. They kind of got me with that.
Annoying.
That was cool. That was cool. I didn't realize that either. I was like, oh, okay, mechanical hand
She
signals.
shouldn't have told Bernard. She shouldn't have told him. Like, I remember she would do like the hand thing. Like in the other episodes, I was like, why is she acting so bad? This is bad acting. Oh no, don't do this to me. Bad acting.
Act natural. You're a podcaster.
I know, but that was genuinely the end of that thought.
Yeah, the timing's a little.
Sometimes
off.
I'll keep going.
This
That was not one of those times.
You started talking.
We need a fourth person
I like that
directing.
too.
Probably.
A producer.
Well, that's what happens when you're independent. You are also the engineer.
Melissa does this for free. Please give her ad revenue. She is our kind host who has hosted us for 10 whole weeks, successfully having us
All
on here
right.
as her guests. All hail Melissa. I wish I had confetti effects. It's not like Zoom when you do a thumbs up and it thumbs up.
I know. I think that's like only like I guess a Google or Apple. I don't know.
Mhm.
Something. Did you guys want to talk about any MVPs that you besides Solo? I guess. Do you have other
Ooh,
ones?
I do want to talk about the Sims wife woman. Is her name
yeah.
Claire?
So now
Claire?
I don't know her name. Wait, isn't it
Camille,
Camille?
thank you. I want to talk about Camille and how she's going to be the new head of the silo and that the algorithm thinks she's the smartest lady ever. And you guys called me a coward last week when I was like, I would totally do like her and play all the sides. Boom, in your face. That is all. I'm glad I was big for that one.
Did I say you were
It
a
was on
coward?
purpose.
No,
I
I
might
think
have said
Andres
that.
called
Yeah,
her
yeah,
a
the
coward.
He said that was
thing to do is
cowardly.
I don't think she's a coward. I think she's
She
being
is
smart.
gravitate towards wherever power is. Yeah, I think that's the cowardly move.
It's how you
She's the
survive
boss now.
here. Like,
Boss lady.
But some people, like, are brave and change minds and stuff. That happens in life. Like, there are what we call leaders in the world.
And Knox is not one of those. That is one of the worst characters in the entire show. I don't know why he's in a leadership position. It makes no sense.
Yeah, but I guess
That
he
guy
kind of had a
sucks.
moment in this episode. Like, he is part of the whole plan that we talked about that actually kind of worked out.
mhm.
Hey, how about
He is. He did the hand
yes?
signals.
How
Hand
about that
signals.
one scene where geez, I forget the older lady's name. I keep forgetting it.
Walker.
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 I like the scene where she's talking to Tim Robbins and she's counting down like something's gonna happen. And then he's like, what did you think was gonna happen?
Ooh,
And
the
then,
lights were getting
hey,
turned off.
how about what's his name from Game of Thrones? The Doctor.
Jorah.
Jorah. Oh
Jorah
my God,
Mormont
Jorah
killing himself
died.
for
That was
the
the
cause.
stupid thing. That's why it's not that good of an episode, specifically his part. Okay, he just found out that his missing daughter is still alive and there's still hope. So, just like Liam Neeson in Taken, his daughter might still be alive, but he's just going to kill himself and let her be taken. Cuz what the hell is that? My daughter's alive. Oh, I got to die. I give up.
He sacrificed himself to blow up the stairs, right?
Which was part
A
of like
dad
the
would not do
rebellion's
that.
plan.
A dad wouldn't
No,
do that?
his daughter's still alive. He
But-
could still see her again and make amends with her and tell her whatever. But instead, he's like, I guess I'll die.
But at that point, it still wasn't certain. Like she hadn't come back yet.
Mm,
There was a point where he
Yeah.
said, like, "Ooh, you guys are the first people I believe when you tell me." But she hadn't come back yet, which we can also talk about. Was a pretty
That was
cool
cool.
scene where she comes back and writes the
Yes.
message on the thing, and it looks exactly
Mhm.
like this framing.
I really like that scene. That's when I was like sitting up. I was like, oh shit, she's going back.
When she
oh my
popped
God,
up.
it's happening.
That was fun.
I yelled.
Yes. Just trying to like break open the thingy, but then it just opened because Bernard's like, yeah, come back in.
There was a lot that happened in this episode. I thought this was great.
Wait, it makes me wish that like we would get more like outside scenes.
I think that's the whole point.
It might be coming up. I think we're gonna find out more
I
about
wish-
what's outside, and it's not necessarily poisonous gas.
I guess. And then it also pissed me off because like last season we end seeing like the 50 silos, and then like it kind of like ramped me up to be excited about like what are the different cities there look like and the cultures. Then we only got to see one. And then now I'm wondering, okay, are the rest of them dead or are there people who are alive? Why can't they know about each other? And I didn't get those answers. So I was frustrated.
That's
I
okay.
wonder how many silos have been safeguarded at this point. What if we're in like the last living silo?
Like the last, I was going to say 2, but this one only has like a family, one
You
family.
know?
It's a mystery.
That would be crazy if there's only one silo left.
We don't know how far in the future we really are, you know? And like, why are we focusing on this one so much, you know?
Well, that's a good question. I thought we were going to get those answers this
This
season.
episode, okay, hear me out. This episode conjured up images of 9/11.
All right,
No.
go on.
There's the part where Jorah Mormont's going to blow himself up to take the stairs down, but you don't see it happen. You see a character hide behind a wall, you hear it happen, and the next thing you see is Bernard telling the phone, "What do you mean it's gone?" And then later, like not that long later, maybe 20 minutes later, they go into the scene at Washington, D.C. And I thought that was very purposeful. I thought they hearkened images of 9/11 so that we would feel some kind of, well, Americans, people who are not American wouldn't really get this, but yeah, I think they were trying to do something there and make us feel some type of way.
The moment that I saw the White House, I was like, oh shit, they're
The
in
Capitol
DC.
building,
And I
but-
was like, oh, sorry, I don't know. I'm a stupid American, okay?
American.
I was like, God, it's political. What's the answers? And I thought like at that fake date scene, we are gonna get like, okay, we're gonna plan to like do this because this is gonna happen on this day. We're gonna make sure people are safe so that people can still reproduce somehow. And it's like we got none of that.
Well, we know there's like some kind of like nuclear back and forth between the US and Iran, or maybe it's a false flag, but there's some kind of nuclear back and forth in the US. And obviously, I think it's relevant that the congressman we saw is from Georgia, and also the postcard that we've seen throughout the series is from Georgia as well. So I think it's kind of safe to say that the silos are in Georgia. Does that make sense?
I think we talked about that last episode, that they're all in Georgia because of that picture that they keep showing us throughout the season.
Maybe.
I have so many thoughts, but like mine are like wildly grasping at anything and everything. So like for instance, that dirty bomb that they talked about that may or may not be real, was in New Orleans. Georgia's right next to New Orleans. Perhaps New Orleans was so decimated that Georgia just became bigger. Or there's like a completely other reason that Georgia became bigger. But like I feel like this is laying the groundwork for like, okay, the United States is going to attack Iran no matter what. They're going to do back and forth. We're going to get all irradiated. And then what? But also, it could be potentially Georgia's right next to Louisiana. It's a book of a tourist book. Who would have a tourist book of Georgia? People not from Georgia. So I think they could be in Louisiana. Yeah, and I also think that maybe the silos are an experiment. Maybe they're happening concurrently. Well, no, actually, no. The little ducky can't be in two places at once, so that doesn't make sense. But that was what I was thinking.
Is that what this was? The demon gnat? I think you're new here.
Hey.
And for radio.
Yes, they did.
So I do want to bring that up because I know they did mention New Orleans and that like the congressman had done some good work in New Orleans, but I don't know that that was necessarily related to the nuclear attack. I think the nuclear attack was near DC because they said like, oh, I had somebody that was like, I knew someone, but they were out of DC when it happened. I feel like they said that, and then also he's scanning for radiation before he goes in there. So
I didn't even.
I thought the implication was that the radiation machine was fake. When he said, "Has that ever beeped red?" and they said no.
So okay, wait, explain. There was some kind of bomb that happened, and people could have been exposed to radiation.
Supposedly, this guy joined the Army Corps of Engineers. The Army Corps of Engineers in real life really usually sometimes do really barbaric things. They're the ones who suggested that, hi, we're all from South Florida. They're the ones who suggested to put a seawall all around downtown Miami from like Brickell to Aventura, literally blocking off the city and Miami from the ocean to stop the climate change that we're experiencing right now. That's the Army Corps of Engineers. They're batshit crazy. So in this show, I'm assuming they're also batshit crazy.
I don't know. The Army Corps of Engineers does good stuff too. Like they send them in to fix things. When I heard New Orleans, I was thinking of like Katrina and the levees and like rebuilding things. So like the Army Corps of Engineers, they do good work too.
But they're also insane. You can't put a wall around Miami. Like Attack on Titan. I keep mentioning Attack on Titan on this podcast.
No, I haven't heard anything about that particular thing. But usually the Army Corps of Engineers comes in to like rebuild things really fast. Yeah.
Okay. Wait. So that you're saying this guy, the congressman, was
she mentions that he's in the Army Corps of Engineers and that he did great work in New Orleans. So I know we all watched some recap videos. They mentioned that like perhaps his work with like the Army Corps of Engineers and the fact that we may be in Georgia, like he may be the congressman that kind of came up with the structure and stuff for the silo.
I mean, we know what's on the ducky, and it's a map of the silo.
The ducky.
There's a map of the ducky. Well, in the video that I watched, he gave it to her as like a little cute gift because she's a duck from Oregon University.
Yeah, and also remember like that Pez dispenser ends up playing a role later. Like,
so you don't think that there's a USB inside the duck currently? You don't think that he literally met with a reporter to give it to her? You think that they're going to go to the silo?
No, I think that USB has like information from beyond the point that we saw at the end. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that USB is a relic from the before times, which we are watching now, but I don't know if it has all of the information in it yet, considering that maybe the silos haven't even been built.
Yeah. I mean,
you need a plan before you get a silo.
If it is a flashback, I guess, which I presume it is.
Why would he give the reporter information about on the USB?
It's like a
big risk. She's like,
he's a whistleblower. This character would not be interesting otherwise.
He looked a little shifty.
Well, maybe.
But in the video that I watched, possibly they're going to get together because that relic ends up being the silo.
And then I think that's when George plants the information in it, doesn't he? Mm. Is that accurate?
I don't know if George put it there. I think George found it.
George found it.
Yeah, he ends up getting the dispenser thingy.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I kind of imagine it like the journalist is going to like uncover information, and this guy's probably trying to block her from knowing more. So he might be kind of like the
It's gonna be like,
antagonist of that storyline in season 3.
I would like that. Like if they showed us like dual timeline type of season 3 where we're seeing the past, because then I can get some more.
I think that is where it's
answers that
going.
way.
I don't know if that storyline interests me personally.
You don't want to know why the silos were built and
Yeah,
who?
but not in the way that they're offering through this like Washington-y kind of story.
I mean, it would have to be something like the federal government to build something like that.
Yeah.
What if it was just some dudes?
You know, at some point, I think somebody was gonna, because I forgot who asked. I think Sims, who was Common, he asked Lucas, what did you tell Bernard? Blah 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 blah. And I thought somebody was gonna say, we're an experiment. It's all fake. I thought something was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, give me the answers, because like, what is so like. Because, you know, like they're so shaken, like Bernard and Meadows, they're so shaken by this that like their whole world wrecks. It's like, my whole world is not real. Like, people are watching us. I don't know.
So-
Yeah, I do think there's got to be something more to it, for sure.
So here's where I'm at. This is not what was in the comic book that I read. I don't know if it's like the books, but it was not what happens in the comic book. So I'm kind of sitting here going, oh. And I once read what I thought was a spoiler. So, like, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. I kind of like my eyes glazed over it. Where I think the insinuation was, and I don't know if this was an actual spoiler or someone's theory, but they were saying that some kind of a religious group took over America and created and bombed America to give a reason for the silos to keep their religion going. And Georgia's part of the American South. We all know how that is. So I kind of believe that that's the case. That sounds like it. I don't know if the government, the government would protect people, we presume, but a religious sect would want to control people and might have enough power and money to do this fake bombing of the United States. I don't know, like real fake bombing. Just say it was Iran.
I mean, Iran's religious
Possibly.
too. Maybe it's an Islamic theocracy. This.
I mean, I don't know what the pact sounds more like in terms of, theology, but
I mean, to me, it always like they never even touch on anything like religious or any belief system besides like a government control form. Like,
but what if the pact is
government control? But the pact is just like, what should the government do in the
instructions
in the case of a citizen
rebellion
uprising, or maybe like anything that goes on with. Yeah, maybe it's an anti-religion religion. Maybe.
What is it? A club? Silo club?
Anti-religion like atheists?
It just becomes another religion at that point, but they just think they're above it.
But I did read that on the internet, but I wasn't sure if it was real or not, and I just kept my mouth shut because I thought it was a real spoiler, and now I don't know.
Can you put up the Demonat? Sounds like you're describing Handmaid's Tale. Hey, did you confuse this and Handmaid's Tale? Honest mistake if you did. Yeah.
No, dude, no.
Just saying. We all make mistakes.
Is that the lore behind the Handmaid's Tale?
I didn't make it past episode 3.
I didn't read the book and I didn't see the show. I watched 2 episodes and they were excellent, but they were too much for me.
They're so torture porn. It's a no.
Mm-hmm.
It's a no for me.
Too close.
No, I never saw it. But yeah, maybe you heard a Handmaid's Tale.
What'd you say? What?
Maybe you heard a Handmaid's Tale.
Plenty of other things. Sorry.
What do you
say?
Severance.
Oh,
I just thought that was a good segue into what are the other things that we're watching.
Well, no,
as we do.
Severance. You can't talk about Severance. Hello.
Haven't seen not even one episode.
We can just say that the first episode was pretty good.
Okay.
It was great.
I'm not disappointed by waiting 3 years.
Yeah. No, and they started off with like such a cool like long shot where you can tell they were being like, hey, we know you haven't been around in 3 years. Check out this cool long shot with a bunch of twisties and turnies. It
Good
was awesome.
filmmaking.
Oh, like one of those
Yeah,
like
Ben
quality
Stiller.
takes with no cuts.
Yeah, it
I mean,
was,
they were
even though-
digital cuts.
Exactly. They edited it together, but
yeah.
it looked seamless. And hey, did you know that that's Ben Stiller, Melissa? He's the one that directs Severance.
He directed.
He's
Yeah.
great. And
That
he's
is-
on the
Yeah, that's
official
super cool.
podcast every week.
He directed
Which I don't
the
know
whole
if I'm
season.
gonna listen to.
What's
I don't think he directed the whole season last year, but he's like, I guess, kind of one of the main showrunners. So
No,
he
I think he
directs
did
like
direct everything.
I think at some point it showed like a few different directors, but he
Mhm.
definitely directs like the first few episodes, and then I think he directed also the finale for sure.
Hmm.
And now he's directing the first bit of this one, and
He
we'll
He
see where
directed
it
half of
goes.
season 2. And in season 1, he was only supposed to direct the first one.
Oh, really? So he just stayed on. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
either way, he's
His
the man.
fingerprints are all over it.
I guess so. I mean, this is so different from anything he's ever done, so it's really kind of hard to say that. But
It's very different from his.
I see Ben Stiller in everything in this show.
I see Ben Stiller all over this. I mean, it's not like Zoolander or Tropic
Yeah,
Thunder.
No.
it's not a comedy, Severance, right? So
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I just like-
he also did Walter Mitty, which was a little more serious.
I think Walter Mitty and Severance are probably the closest.
back when I was
That's really
checking out
nice.
Severance years ago, that show is not funny. What are you talking about?
It's very funny. It's
It's
like
funny.
it's funny in the way that Bob Newhart is very funny.
I
Bob
don't know
Newhart.
this.
All right, I guess you guys didn't watch the Bob Newhart show on Nick at Night. Let me just tell you, he is the greatest straight man of all time.
No,
or
I
rest
did
in
watch.
peace.
I did watch Bob Newhart, and that's what's confusing me about your comment, actually. But I would say it's fun, like at least as funny as Game of Thrones was, like as much comedy into it as Game of Thrones.
Severance is so funny.
It is not funny.
Yeah, Game of Thrones was pretty funny too. There was a lot of funny characters. There aren't in House of Dragon.
Mm-mm,
No.
one's
But
funny
if you
there.
recall the first few seasons of Game of Thrones,
They
Tyrion
had
did a
funny
lot of heavy
characters
lifting.
like Tyrion, Bronn,
Yeah,
the Hound would have good one-liners.
My
I would say
favorite character.
Severance is as funny or maybe a little bit more funny than Game of Thrones, but not as funny as Succession.
Succession is not funny at all.
Succession is really funny. I don't know if
Y'all,
you guys
how do
watch
you define
like
comedy? How do you define comedy?
the way they talk to each other is all like quips and jokes and making fun of each other the whole time, and it's funny. In
Hmm.
Succession,
Severance is one of the most frustrating experiences for me. Everyone says it's amazing. I want to watch amazing things. I watched like a whole season and a half,
are you talking
and
about
I was
Succession?
miserable.
Succession,
Sorry,
you mean?
Succession.
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 Um,
I was miserable.
it's not for everybody, but
My
I
God.
loved it.
I laugh all the time with Severance. All the time.
Yeah, Severance is also funny. I
You
just
mean
feel
like dark humor?
Yes. It's
Mm.
extremely dark. And that's why I watched the first season 2 times, because when you know things and you watch them, it's like, it's great. It's so good. So good.
So you know what's also so great in the silo?
Lunch in the cafeteria where Bernard
Yeah.
locked himself in for
What
some
else
reason.
happened in the Down Deep? or in
Why
the
did
middle
Bernard
section?
lock himself in the cafeteria?
I don't. And then he had a gun. I was like, "Are you about to
Yeah.
kill yourself, sir?"
Well, the gun
He
was for
w-
him.
He was going to kill himself, but then he decided to go outside and
Outside.
die like a man outside, Like, let me just
I
have
can't.
freedom for once in my life.
I
I don't know if he changed his mind, though. It seemed like he was on his way to go out. He had a suit and everything.
In there was a point where he was just sitting there with a gun.
Yeah.
Yes, it looked
Yeah,
very
and
nice.
then I was like, he might just kill himself.
Yeah.
And then you see him going outside so that he can at least like be a free man for once. Free. Like whatever. He still has to wear the suit, but I
Yeah.
guess why wear the suit? Why
I
wear
think
the
he's gotta
suit?
get out at least
Like,
5 feet. Maybe you die before you get out of the tunnel.
Maybe
like just feel the fresh air on your
Hold your breath and
skin.
run.
Yeah.
fresh
Hold
air
your
for
breath and
1.2 seconds before they gas you, before the algorithm gasses you. I was
What's
guess
the deal with
so.
the furnace? I don't remember a furnace in there.
things like I don't get that either, because how do they take the suits off and then put the suits in the furnace, and then how's that work?
I don't know. I don't remember a furnace. It was like, oh no, you'll die. I'm like, from what? Oh,
Yeah, you know what? That
oh.
kind of got me too. But she's
Probably
wearing a
come
fire
back
suit. She's
before.
wearing a fire suit, and he's not. So
Yeah,
I guess
she's gonna be fine.
So do
I
we
guess
think
he's
Bernard
good.
is dead, or do we not?
I think so. Yeah, I think no more Tim Robbins.
I thought they were both dead, and then I remembered it was a fire
She's
suit.
wearing fire suit, so then he's dead.
I just love her
You
going
know,
off camera. Ah!
I didn't even like put two and two together at first that it was a fire suit, but I was like, they're not going to kill Juliet
Main
Nichols.
character, yeah.
She literally went off camera like this.
They both did.
Ah!
I don't know. I'm like, I won't be tricked. I know you're all gonna be alive. What if you live for some reason?
It really
Yeah.
looked like this.
I bet you they both jump to somewhere in a corner where the fire is not like flaming. It's like they're alive.
The fire could be everywhere. There's no living that.
I think Tim Robbins is just dead, and
They can't afford him.
Rebecca Ferguson is going to be like a little hot. That's
She's
it. You know,
a little
She's gonna be
burn.
like, oh, it was so hot in there.
Let me in, guys.
Little burns. The guy, what's his name? Solo did something extra special for her suit that he won't know about. That she won't know about. Even though it is a fire suit, but
He taped it up real good, right?
very yeah. I'm saying maybe he did something extra special to it. I don't know.
Maybe he put instructions inside somewhere, like the way people hide money in their clothes.
The Demonat has another comment.
Oh yeah.
People
Yeah,
watch
that
Very-
she's wearing a fire suit. Okay, so
did you think
I'm-
he was gonna die? Demon.
I'm glad we could put your mind at ease. Somebody actually took something away from watching this. That's great.
Oh my god, that's a great
We did
point.
it.
Thanks so
Yeah.
much for joining for our season finale show, and we put your mind at ease.
Yeah.
What else happened?
I don't
Oh,
know. What else
poor
happened? in this
Sheriff
episode?
Billings. They just beat him up.
I forgot what happened to him.
They just beat him up a little
Okay.
bit.
I believe
A
you.
little punchy punch.
Oh yeah, but he kind of like sacrificed him. Like as part of that plan, they were all like sacrificing themselves, right?
They didn't
'Cause they're,
die.
like, no, but they got like beat up a little bit and they got arrested.
Oh yes,
Mm.
I thought they were gonna get killed.
Yeah, I know. At first I was like, maybe the writing is just that bad that even though they set up that this was a trick, they're just gonna get taken in and beat
Mhm.
up now.
Chris Day,
But-
on to the next show.
And the next show should be Severance.
Severance.
I need time
Stamp of
to
approval.
binge season 1.
I'm pretty sure Severance is the best show on TV now. I mean, I
can
love Succession.
say that.
Succession is gone.
Yeah.
I don't know what my next best show is after Severance, or
I've got
what's-
one.
What's
Is it
even
an
in the
anime
vicinity.
show?
Yes,
do it,
solo
don't do it, don't do it.
leveling. Solo leveling's on like episode 3 or 4, and I find it to be one of the best action shows I've seen that I can completely follow. Is very unique, has female characters that don't only talk about the man, and it's really good. It's an action show. I can't tell you the plot because the first episode is a spoiler, but it's called
Anime?
Solo Leveling.
It's an anime show?
It's great. I'm on
Oh.
season 2, episode 3-ish. Just aired. Great show.
Alright.
Well, after Silo, I have nothing left to live for. I have no show. I'll try to attempt to binge Severance season 1.
Can I convince you to come back next week so we can do this again for Severance?
Severance.
If I have the time to binge it. I wish y'all would have told me that you wanted to do a podcast on it so I could have time to watch it.
I feel like that was implied. All the times we said January 17.
And
January
kind
17.
of a literal person, you gotta be direct.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, get to episode 9 of that's the first season's only 9 episodes, right? Of Severance.
Yes, only 9 episodes. 1 hour.
If
58
you can-
minutes.
If you can finish the first season of Severance and
Mhm.
like still don't like it, then we won't do anything. But I feel like you will like it. You will like
We're
it. You know
bullying
why?
Melissa
Because
into doing this on her own
the
channel.
the first season,
We're
the
bullying
first
you on your own channel to do a podcast about a show you haven't seen.
yeah, the first season ends with a lot of answers for like a season finale.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Oh,
that
it's
is one of
such a
the-
good finale.
No one likes answers to things.
That is
No,
one
there
of the
are
best
many answers.
parts.
It's satisfying.
It does raise new questions, or else you wouldn't want to watch season 2.
It's like
but you-
Attack on Titan.
I love it
It's
when my
very-
friends know me.
It's very satisfying.
Okay.
Attack on Titan is my litmus test for good anything right now, and it's good. It's great.
Okay.
I've been
Well,
watching a lot of
tomorrow
the
is the
Great British
day
Bake Off.
that we have off in America. And I have something
I
super
don't.
morning. You work tomorrow?
I've never, nowhere that I've worked have I ever gotten Martin Luther King Jr. Day off.
Sorry.
I don't think I've gotten it off since like school. I don't know, like high school or something. I don't know if I had it off at University of wherever I went either.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Security, privacy.
I thought my job was pretty bad with giving me barely any holidays off.
I mean, but I don't know many people that do have Martin Luther. I mean, I guess now I know you guys.
Yeah. And like my relatives also have that day off.
Martin Luther King? I mean, are
Yeah.
they teachers or something?
Yeah. What?
No, they're not. I'm not a teacher. Age is not a teacher.
No.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, you guys are the first people I've talked to that have Martin Luther
No,
King.
I just feel
Jr.
better about
Day
my
off.
job a little bit. Man,
I had it at my last job, the job before that.
job before that.
Martin Luther King Jr. Day?
Yeah.
Like, you guys have like Flag Day and
No, he's
No,
an American
in
hero.
my last job,
I know, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, but President's Day, you have President's Day off too?
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
that one,
I have to
that's like,
check.
so I've been at places that do on and off. Like if you get President's Day, you don't get Martin Luther King
Mm.
or the other way
Okay.
around.
I mean, that's something. Columbus Day,
I think
you
all
have
three
that?
of us worked at a place like
Indigenous
that.
Day. I had Indigenous Day, formerly known as Columbus Day, off at my last job, but with this job, I don't have that day.
Do you think that they have days off in the silo outside of like Founders Day? Do their little
Yes,
shops
they have
go?
holidays there. Remember, they have
They
holidays.
do.
Yes.
Hmm.
So
We got to talk about Nick Kyle or whatever his name is.
who?
Is it Kyle? Lucas? Lucas
Lucas.
Kyle?
Lucas Kyle.
What did I call him? Nick Lucas? Nick Kyle?
The guy who was promoted.
Talk to his mommy.
And then now
He
he's
got a
like,
gun pointed at him.
Because I know the truth from the algorithm.
He kicked the guy in the nuts and then let Judge Sims point a gun at him. What else did he do this episode?
He told Bernard a big truth bomb that we don't know yet. But I'm gonna look up the lore videos. I don't care. I'm not waiting anymore.
Really?
I
Yeah,
might do the
interesting.
same. I don't think
What-
we're getting a season 3.
Why don't you guys at
really?
least like read the books? Maybe
No,
the
I'm not
books are
gonna read
good.
the
I started
books.
one.
You all know I only read one genre. I will watch other
Oh, yeah.
genres. I read one genre. I'm not gonna read it. So I'm gonna go ahead and look up the YouTube videos. Very excited to learn more because this show is blue balling me and I'm not gonna wait anymore. I'm very upset. So I'm just gonna watch.
That is a very apt description. That is kind of what it feels like.
Is there any information on when? I know they already started producing the third season. Maybe
I
they
actually
started.
have no
Maybe started
idea.
filming it.
Of
I
Silo?
think- Yes, and I heard that the fourth season is written.
Really?
Yeah, so they've known for a while they were going to get renewed. By the way, but so nobody
Yes,
knows. I
it was
assume.
renewed 2 days
I-
ago.
I don't know. Oh, I didn't even see that anywhere on my socials. Maybe because the
Me
internet
neither.
knows the show. Yeah.
Me neither. And there's some kind of a twist. Is it the twist that we're talking about the government?
Well, yeah, the twist is
that-
probably the end of the season finale, which is a flashback. I don't think anybody really saw that coming.
So they
Yeah,
really are saying that season 4 is going to be the last season.
Great.
Okay.
I think that's
Huh.
I think it's a good fit.
It's a good run. It's good enough. Isn't there like 3 books? So it's like good. It's like fine.
But
And I
are
would
we
say, like-
enjoying it?
Well, I would say like I have the same critique of both seasons. Like season 1, I
Mhm.
thought kind of dragged in the middle. And I was like, they're stretching this out like way too much. But I remember at the end being like, okay, it was solid because the way it ended.
Mhm.
And I feel kind of the same way about season 2.
Mm.
I think it didn't have as strong of like a start to the season as season 1 did. But by the end, I was like, all right, well, the ending was cool. And at least they set it up. But they stretched it so
Stretched it
long.
out.
There was like 4 or 5 weeks in the middle there where we were like, this 2.5, 3 out of 5, maybe.
Mhm. It's too short because like not enough has been shown or told. I agree with you, Demon Nat.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how it's gonna go. I'm just very impatient. Anyway, okay. Last minute thoughts. We're going at 44 minutes. Last minute thoughts. Likes, dislikes, MVP. Would you like to rate the season overall?
I feel like that's a good way to end.
Okay, go ahead. You first.
Me? Okay, so I've been grading episodes on
Oh,
a
wait, Spotlight.
Spotlight.
This
Okay,
is
yeah, do it.
every time you do this, it's paralyzing.
So all season, I've been rating
podcaster.
I've been rating episodes on a curve because I feel like Silo is not as good as some other TV shows that I really love. But for grading the show, I am going to do it just based on how it is as TV as a whole. I would say this was a C+ season of television.
Would you like to give me 1 out of 5 silos for the purists?
Oh, I
C
thought
silos.
okay. 2.5.
Okay, I will take that. That is fair. All right, Age, ready? You had so much time to think about this. Go.
I'm going to give it a C as well, and maybe 3 out of 5 silos. By the way, when I score things, 3 is not a bad score. It's a competent score. I don't feel like I wasted my time. I would give season 1 maybe 4 out of 5 silos. Maybe if I had binged season 2, I know we've already said this, but maybe if we binged it, we would have liked it some more. And I genuinely am considering just not coming back for season 3 and waiting for it to, just waiting for the whole season to come out, and maybe we can cover another show that's more interesting.
Wow.
But
The art of the deal. Now you've forced Melissa's hand to cover Severance or some other show.
Melissa, join us.
No, sorry.
Watch anime.
My internet just went
Watch
haywire
Attack on
towards
Titan.
the end of this stream. That's crazy. Okay, I haven't
Well, good
maximized
timing.
myself yet. Can I do it? Oh, crap, I did it.
Yes.
Okay. So what I rate this, first of all, I want to say thank you, Rob Blackfire. That was a very nice comment from you. I will give this a C- because I feel like I wasted my time, and I also feel like I may not return for season 3 at all, because I just feel like you can't keep people waiting for too long. I think sometimes that's what these kinds of shows run into a little bit of trouble, when you just keep not giving people, your audience, answers. And I know we got a little bit of answers, but I don't have enough answers to make me want to run back and watch season 3. It just leaves me kind of more frustrated. And for the silos, I will give it 2.5 out of 5 silos, because this was a little bit painful. And I am wondering if maybe I would have enjoyed this more if I binged it the way I binged season 1. Maybe then I would have liked it more, but we'll never know, because I can't go back in time and redo it all. So there's that.
Is
And then
this
there
a
you have it.
unanimous C?
It is.
Yeah, it's a unanimous C. I would say that I guess if you guys aren't gonna watch it or do the podcast, maybe I won't, but I would say I'm open to watching season 3, because I think now with the jumping back and forth between timelines, I think that's going to be a nice little gimmick that could hold me off for a while into season 3, the first few episodes, and then maybe if they can finish strong the way they have for season 1 and 2, might be a solid full season we could get there in season 3.
I was wondering
Oh.
something very similar.
Okay.
Do you remember in those episodes where I was complaining we have like a slow storyline and a fast storyline? It was very disjointed, or at least it felt weird going back and forth. Would the answer genuinely be a third storyline to like really round that out? I don't know about other TV shows. Oh, there's something I have to mention. I just have to mention it. For people who watch Friends, I don't watch Friends. Apparently, there's an episode where Joey is on a TV show and they kill him in an elevator shaft because he said something bad about the writers. And that is the episode that my husband watched before we watched Jorah Mormont get killed in the shaft of the stairs. And it was very funny for him. So for people who watch Friends, apparently that was very funny for you. I see you. You
An
exist.
episode of Friends where Joey dies in the
He's an
stairs.
actor, remember?
Okay, yeah. I do. Okay, I kind of
Like, why kill Jorah? Well, that's the stupidest part of the episode.
I didn't
Okay,
mind it.
let's all
I liked
die.
it.
We're at 49 minutes. We have to wrap it up. We have 8 people.
Are you
watching
Cinderella?
after ending.
All right.
Pumpkin's gonna pumpkin.
All right, guys. We might be back. We might not. But if we
Maybe
might
we'll be back for Severance in a week.
Subscribe and hit the bell, because we might be back with a different show. Alrighty. Peace out. Tell your friends about us.